Hey, 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 we are back and we are black. Hey, hey, we are back and we are black. I'm your boy, you already know what it is. It's out the motherfucker outside still. You already know what it is, I'm your boy. This is No I Don't Know TV. Y'all know what it is. Rocking out. It's been a motherfucker outside. God damn. Hey. Shout out to everybody that's handling their business and doing what the fuck they need to do. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to all you niggas at the corporate plantation. Shit. And working my motherfucking ass off. Shout out to all you niggas that's out there that's fronting and pretending like you real ill, but you ain't. You just finessing. And shout out to the motherfuckers that's really working in this pandemic. Shout out to the niggas that's not trying to work. But don't be mad at the niggas that is working, because niggas got bills to pay. So shout out to them. Hey. Shout out to all you motherfuckers that's out there that's finessing, sitting around the house, not knowing what your next move is, but knowing you gonna finesse somebody. Hey. And shout out to the niggas that's always asking, damn, man, you gotta work? Damn, man. And they'll never give you no time off. Nigga, what? Nigga, that's a good thing. Don't let no nigga, shout out to the niggas that try to make you feel bad because you gotta go to work. Lame ass niggas. Hey. And shout out to all the niggas that's really trying to get up in the morning and make something happen and be productive throughout their day. And not just sitting around mad at the next nigga. Because you got 24 hours, the same 24 hours I got, you got, nigga. And shout out to all you motherfuckers that's trying to figure out a loophole on how you can finesse so you ain't gotta go to work. And shout out to the niggas that's trying to fuck a bitch. Nigga just got off the phone with the bitch and the bitch is like, yeah, you can come over. That shit. Niggas like, damn, I don't know. Shit. What that mouth do though, nigga? Hey, shout out to all you niggas that's thinking wearing the mask is gonna really protect you from some shit that they putting in the air. Goofy ass niggas. Hey. And shout out to hey, what's going on, Bodless Pack? I've been in the cut, bro. I got a amazing Native American girlfriend. She drive me crazy, dude. What's that, nigga? I'm back in here, though. 35, 45. He's on to the next. Hey, what's going on, nigga? Hey, don't worry about it. We gonna get on that in a minute. Not in a bad way, in a good way. Just having this conversation, and I've been having this conversation with my family. Shout out to all my, I gotta send a special shout out to all my close relatives, siblings, you know what I mean? It's a new stage and a new era, you know. So shout out to them, because I know it's not easy trying to make it without our mother. RIP to my mom. She was the grandmaster in finessing. If you looked up finessing, it would be a picture of my mama with a full flavor 100 cigarette. Talking about, I told you. And then a picture of her. So shout out to my mom, RIP. And shout out to my siblings, all of them. And I'm the middle child out of 6, so we got a pretty big extended family. But it's a new stage. So shout out to them, because this shit is not easy. If you have your mother, be thankful. But if she's finessing, you better be watching. Hey. And shout out to, like my brother Bodiless Passenger said, I'm going to start calling you BP. BP, that's going to be your nickname, bros. BP, Bodiless Passenger. He in the chat room, so shout out to all the niggas in the chat. But, hey, shout out to all my women that's out here that's still trying to slang they pussy hole during this COVID-19. And all I'm going to do is say, I will auction off that pussy hole for you. Without a doubt, I will take a small finder's fee. I'll take about 5% to 10%. And I need my money up front, so. And we can start off the auction like, let me get, sold to the next sucker. And shout out to all my women that's out there that's auctioning off their pussy hole on offerup.com. And shout out to all my women that's got a fans only page. I'm gonna get an OnlyFans page where the fuck that shit is too. And it's gonna be my podcast. Motherfuckers gonna be like, man, this nigga Warren on some weird shit. No, nigga, I'm just gonna have a podcast on there. Hey, but shout out to everybody that's handling business. Hey, one more thing, you know I'm gonna say it. Did Jesus come back today? Damn. Niggas at church like, hey, Jesus said, he gonna do it. You know him. And shout out to motherfuckers talking about, I gotta say this one last thing. Shout out to all you motherfuckers, but ain't no shout out. If I'm telling you, one more motherfucker talking about, I know a place that's much hotter than this. Man, if you don't get the fuck away from me with that bullshit. You know the church people. That's that's what church people used to tell us. I grew up in church. You're like, man, it's hot. Well, I know a place that's much hotter than this. And I used to be like, man, you don't know no place that much hotter than this, man. Stop that shit. I'm gonna make my girl OnlyFans. It's gonna be her just eating food. You better hustle that shit. Watch, I'm gonna get an OnlyFans page and I'm gonna be eating food and doing a podcast. Shout out to everybody that's got an OnlyFans page. Hey. And shout out to all you motherfuckers that's out here that's moving and grooving. Got ants in your pants and need to dance. Hey. You know, this gonna be one of my third singles off of Bitch, Where Were You When I Needed You? And I'm gonna give you a little excerpt to how the song go. I just want you to know that our love will probably grow if you eat all that you can be. If you give me money, bitch, so I can pay my power bill, and you can get more thrills. You know them niggas that be trying to whoa and all that bullshit. So shout out to them clown ass niggas, goofy ass niggas. Let me cut this shit down. Hey, man, what is going on, man? It's a lot of shit to talk about. Hey, it's a lot of shit to talk about. It's a lot of shit to discuss. BP, man, Native American. And look, I'm gonna start off like this. We're not gonna diss Native Americans at all, because I don't have no vitriolic feelings towards my Native American brothers and sisters. The only grief that I have is how they don't want to share the limelight with us because we built this country with them. So your job should be BP, is you just educate that sister. That's it. Now, if she don't want to hear the education, then you're going to have a problem. But if she's like willing to sit down there, don't force feed it down her neck, because you got to understand what she done been taught. But you have to educate her and say, okay, I know you that Native American and y'all was here, whatever, but we built this country, not y'all. They enslaved us. Yeah, they did harmful things to y'all, but we have documented history of what they have done to black folks in this country. So that's all you got to do, man. Don't let it drive you crazy. Look, you got to drive yourself crazy before you let somebody else drive you crazy. But hey, man, I'm going to get on it right now, and we're going to discuss some things. Look, now, no diss to John Lewis, but they didn't even remember his name. They thought he was Elijah Cummings. So now they want to carry him across the bridge and do all this bullshit and play all these games and you know, make it seem like they really, really, really care about John Lewis. But I will say this. They don't give a fuck about no John Lewis. And they damn sure don't give a fuck about any of you other black motherfuckers. They just prop up John Lewis because he's safe. And he's known for getting his ass whooped in Selma. And that's his claim to fame. And there's no diss, but that's not what you want to teach your children. And another thing is you don't want to teach your children just that aspect of racism, white supremacy. That, oh, you can make it. All you got to do is you just got to be safe. Hey, what's going on, Shondy? I see you. What up, fam? What's going on with you? I know I got to check my email. I know you, just in case you send me some more shit, but hey, man. No diss to John Lewis and no diss to nobody, but you have to look at what it is. That's like a motherfucker Hey, that's like a motherfucker saluting Warren, right? And you like, okay, we salute Warren, but every time you hear me talk, I'm talking about how you gotta just be docile, be a conformist, go along to get along, don't question the system, just shut up and do your job. You'll be like, okay, well, he was just teaching us how to conform. He wasn't really teaching us nothing how to be self-sufficient. And y'all gotta know the difference, because there's a big difference between being self-sufficient and being a conformist. A conformist is a go along to get along type of motherfucker. There's a motherfucker that's trying to make it through the day. And I get it, because you got to do that at the corporate plantation. I'm not telling you to go to your goddamn job and act no fool, because you got to use that money to take care of your fam bam. So I'm not saying that, so don't take my words out of context. What I'm saying is, what has he physically done to move forward black folk? And what I mean by that is he discussing the black labor's white wealth? Is he discussing the power numbers? Is he discussing what we need to do? Why is nobody standing up and saying, okay, now y'all piling on the black folk community, y'all benefited off the black folks community, but you're not giving nothing back to it. You're putting your corporations in their communities, you're gentrifying it, you're redlining it, but what are you doing? But in my personal opinion, if he started talking about that, they would just shut him down. And the reason why I know they would shut him down is because he's safe. Which brings me to another point. Now y'all want to remember John Lewis, but our brother, Alonzo Brooks. Now, Shawnee, BP, on a couple of podcasts ago, I was talking about how I was watching this documentary called Unsolved Mysteries. Y'all know used to come on, the nigga with the long brown trench coat with the black leather gloves and shit. And then she used to fucking creep you the fuck out. Well, I was watching it, but they didn't have him on there talking, and they went to this brother, Alonzo Brooks. And I'll repeat the whole situation where he went to this party with his white friends. He didn't have his black friends around, and he got into it with some white people. And then he ended up never making it home and ended up getting killed. And then the family, the police officers went out there to search for the body. They couldn't find it. So then the family said, well, we're coming out there. So when the family went out there, mysteriously, his body just popped up out of nowhere. And it looked like it hadn't rotted because it was in a freezer. That was a hate crime. Now they're about to open it back up. But the thing about it is, these are the things that they're not talking about on TV. This happened 15 years ago. Was I informed 15 years ago? No, I was not informed that way. But I am now. So now we need to get on it. Because nobody's talking about him. Nobody's talking about Breonna Taylor. They just kicked in the door with a no-knock warrant. So go check out that podcast if you have not listened to it. And it breaks down that. I break down that like, well, how you gonna have a no-knock warrant, but then you knock, but then you didn't announce who you were. So that's deceptive. If you knock on somebody's door, the first thing they're gonna say is, who is it? Why didn't they say it's the police? They didn't say shit. They just kicked in the door. But if it's a no-knock warrant, then why would you knock? That was to get them out of their game. So nobody's talking about Breonna Taylor. Nobody is talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, the white bitch who was funneling young women to Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody's talking about this woman. Donald Trump sends her a shout out. Watch what's gonna happen. That bitch gonna do a year in prison. If that. Because we not paying attention to that. We more worried about the Lakers game. Let the kids worry about the Lakers. Fuck the goddamn Lakers. The Lakers ain't gonna help you replace the system of racism, white supremacy, and establish a system of justice. They just gonna keep making money. You remember what LeBron did? He apologized just for reciting a lyric from a song about the Jews. So them niggas is not gonna help you. So you already see what they did to our brother. So they're not gonna help you. So it's our opportunity to help ourselves and educate ourselves and stop assuming that they really like black folk, because they don't at all. Now I'm gonna play something and I'm gonna see if they play it. Let's see if they play it. Yeah, cause good. Skip. Cause you know they doing a commercial, so I'm skip the ad.
I kept saying there is something bigger. I'm gonna find out.
We may have something more sinister going on.
All these years, we never spoke.
Yeah, that's just, yeah, that's some bullshit. I'm gonna go to the other one, cause I want to see what they fucking talking about. Let's see what they talking about. They got it on. Let's see. Let's see, because they got it on CNN. There we go. There go his mom's right there talking. So let's see. I want to see. There we go.
With all the recent events that's going on, I'm glad that it aired out when it did because it has brought out more support and awareness for my son, Case Alonso. I have faith this time. I really do. I have that feeling that something's gonna come up. Somebody's gonna say something. It's gonna crack this case up. If it wasn't for the unsolved mystery, none of this stuff would be happening. And I praise them, and I'm thankful for what they're doing, and I'm thankful for the FBI too to get involved with this too. So yes, I think this time I will have closure.
Now that was Alonzo Brooks' mom, because what ended up happening was they had it on Unsolved Mysteries, and basically, when I would say basically, let me cut the music back on. Basically, when they had it on Unsolved Mysteries, what ended up happening was that brought more attention back to it. So then motherfuckers started fucking with it again. Yeah, now it's a fucking mystery. The mystery is, how did they find his body in the water with dry papers in his pocket? Oh, so you saw it, Shawnee. Hey, when I'm watching this shit, I'm just watching it. Now, the thing that I didn't like about it, now you tell me, Shawnee, the thing that I didn't like about it was this. Why is it he didn't have, now if those are supposed to be his friends, why would they leave him to go get a pack of cigarettes around a whole bunch of white people that he doesn't know? And then the one friend was like, oh, I got lost, and I just tell him to catch a ride with somebody else. That sounds like a setup. Because why would you leave him at a party? He don't know these people. He had already gotten into it with somebody. And I know what happened. They was calling him nigga and shit. And he probably was getting ready to whoop somebody's ass, and all them white boys got together and was like, well, we'll just kill this nigga. Because nothing's going to happen to us. Because if you watch the whole series, they all those white people that was at that party, they all lawyered up when the FBI got involved. All of them did. Because one of the white boys that was doing an interview, he said all of those people that were there, they all started lawyering up. Now, why would you lawyer up if you don't have nothing to do? You just speak to them uncannily. But you know why? Because the shit will go back and you'll be an accessory to murder, especially if you was there and you didn't do shit. And that's a lot. That it's such a terrible thing that happened to that young brother, because didn't nobody check his white friends. That's what I would have done. I would have checked his white friends and been like, okay, why is it that y'all left him at that party? Like the black friend that he had, I would have checked all of them. So why the fuck y'all leave him at the party like that? Why y'all just leave? Then y'all not his fucking friends and don't fucking come around ever again. Or you catching the fade on sight. Straight up. Hey, what's going on, Wendy? I see you. I know, tuning in. Hey, I'm surprised they even alerted y'all, man. Y'all know how the lies be. But I was just shocked when I was watching it. Wendy, you need to go check out on Netflix The Unsolved Mysteries of Alonzo Brooks. I think this brother, because his mom looks Native American. She doesn't look Hispanic. She looks Native American. See, because you know a lot of Latinos, they try to mingle in with the Native American, and you're not. So she looks Native American. So I think he was mixed. I think his dad was black. He had to be black because he looked like a brother. He looked more Samoan. It is time for some accountability. That's a fact. It's very much time for some accountability. And when you watch the documentary, you watch the series and you kind of like, okay, so why would y'all leave him at the party? That's the only thing I kept saying. Why would y'all leave him at the party like that? Oh, I got lost and I was tired and I just wanted to go home. No, you should have went back and got your friend and then went home, especially if he already got into it with someone. See, it was almost like a setup. It was like they knew he was going to get killed or something was going to happen to him and they just left. And there was only one white boy crying at the end of the interviews because he was like, man, I should have never left him there. But the other white boy, they were just talking. They didn't have no type of ill will in their heart. And the reason why that is they don't care. They ain't have shit to do with them. I think a lot of the times is we're more focused on the John Lewis's because that's what they want y'all to be focused on. Because we going to get in some good trouble. You know how he is. You know, John Lewis was safe. I gave you that blood on the bridge in Selma. That shit. And everybody want to liken themselves and attach themselves to MLK. Just like that Jewish rabbi on Nick Cannon's class. You can't bring it up MLK and then low-key talking shit, just lightweight talking shit about Farrakhan the whole time. And I just kept saying, but did you know that Martin Luther King was getting guidance from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Didn't know none of that, No. And didn't know that he was turning over a new leaf because he saw how we was getting treated. And he wanted the money and reparations, and he did not agree with that war. And that's when they was like, all right, we got to kill this nigga. You know, where's Tashino? Hey, Tashino? Shit, we grew up in that shit. And I'll tell you this. Don't take it as no diss. I don't want nobody to take it as a diss that I'm dissing black churches. I'm not dissing black churches. I grew up in one. The only thing that I didn't particularly appreciate about growing up in black church, they never told us how to arm ourselves against the system of racism and white supremacy. They never told us about black labor, white wealth. And here, let me tell y'all something. This is the reason why I'm really upset. Because this man, Dr. Claude Anderson, in the 90s, he spoke at Frederick Price's church, the Crenshaw Center. Why did we not know about that? We can talk all the shit you want about Fred Price, but he had Dr. Claude Anderson at his church speaking on Pyronomics and black labor, white wealth. Go on YouTube and look it up. He's at Fred Price's church, the Crenshaw Center, on Vermont, speaking the gospel of black labor and white wealth. And that's where I had my issues. And I had my issues with a lot of the black churches because it was more focused on, give. A lot of black churches we went to just give. But then you look at the community and the surrounding neighborhood, you're not doing shit. And there's nothing there to teach the young kids separately from the Bible about how you can empower yourself. So I just don't want people to get it misconstrued. Hey, man, I got nothing but love and respect for the black church, but I'm particularly not overzealous about just teaching that one type of religion, but not teaching them racism and white supremacy. That's a religion that we study every day, that we need to know because they know about us. So we need to know about that. You know why? Because people like Alonzo Brooks will never be on TV. I would have never even known who he was if I didn't watch Unsolved Mysteries. Some just told me, just watch everything, every single one. And when it got to him, it fucked with me because I was like, damn. And then I kept forgetting to really talk about it on the podcast. And I said, today I'm going to talk about it. Because they keep pushing in your face the stimuluses and Congress meeting and Joe Biden and Donald Trump and John Lewis. And they basically, they just keep taking you on a merry-go-round and weaving you in and out of traffic. So then you all confused and you in a daze. And then the real shit that's going on, you can't even attack it. Just like the Nick Cannon shit. Like the sister, I watched this little clip the sister made, and I get it. I understand Nick Cannon's position. I get it. Can't nobody front on Nick Cannon because, look, Nick Cannon is just like us at the corporate plantation. If the corporate plantation flipped the script and gave you a whole lot of money to manage their shit and you can take care of your family, let's see what you'll do in that position. Because a lot of niggas would take that money. They acting like, no, you would. You would take that money, you would manage their shit the way they want you to do. And you would apologize if they need you to apologize. So stop fronting like, oh, man, Nick sold out and all this other stuff. And I'm not saying that I agree, but like Master P said, if you're not owning it, you the worker. And it clearly, it showed that they duped him. They bamboozled him. He's been run amok. He's been hoodwinked. He's been bamboozled. And that's all it is. But this will teach Nick Cannon going forward, I know how to do my business now. This will teach him. And I do feel bad in the sense of now he's got to walk back his statements. He's got to denounce Professor Griffin, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he's got to have a Jewish rabbi on and watch him basically use the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as a punching bag. And that shit is annoying. That's the man, Dr. Claude, as he did speak at Ever Increasing Faith. Dr. Price was about that black economic empowerment in the early 90s. He got some heat behind that too from the higher ups. Oh, I know he did. That was ballsy to have Dr. Claude Anderson on his major platform. Because from any of y'all that's from LA, Fred Price is a big deal. Fred Price is like Bishop Blake, for Church of God in Christ. Fred Price is big time. Fred Price is like, what's that? Joel Osteen. But the Blackbird, nah, Fred Price is more gully though. Fred Price is more to the point. But Fred Price is a big deal, was a big deal in the 90s. And for him to have Dr. Claude Anderson on there, the Honorable Dr. Claude Anderson, that was monumental. Because when I learn about somebody, if they got footage of them, I try to go back and research it. Like when I started getting into Dr. Sebi 2013, 2014, yes, 2013, 2014. I'm not finna front. I've been on Dr. Sebi since 9. No, I didn't. But I've been on Dr. Sebi since 2013, 2014. And I started watching a lot of his old videos of how he was talking about food is electric. And you know, so that's why. Yep. Nick Cannon knew that his contract says in the fine print, be quiet or get fired. Yep. That's real. Look, the thing that I can't speak about with Nick Cannon, he knows for the next time. Now, I think I would say that Nick Cannon is a very resilient young brother, and he's very intelligent, and I think he's got something in the mix. And I think he's got something in the mix that is not going to make Viacom too happy. Trust me, the dude is not dumb. He's got to take this L right now, but Nick is very resilient. So, you know, I wouldn't just count him out, but I would say let's stop putting our trust and faith in black celebrities to stand up and do the necessary things that we need to do. That's why it's our job to post the Alonzo Brookses and put that out there. I was just watching the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I don't know when this was, when he was talking about the Rothschilds, and he got so emotional, and his emotions got so much, he was crying. He said, y'all just don't understand how wicked these people really are. Don't be black in power when it's convenient, Nick. That's why I look at it from both sides. See, Sean, you already know. And Wendy and all y'all, I want y'all to know this too. If y'all go back and look at my podcast, I always used to say, we want black celebrities to be activists, and we want activists to be black celebrities, and it doesn't work. Go look at some of my older podcasts. I've been saying that shit. We want niggas that got billions to be an activist, and we want activists that ain't got no money to be billionaires. So we look at the activists like, oh, they broke. They ain't got shit. Why we listen to them? And then we look at the billionaires like, okay, well, what are they going to do? And then when they don't say shit, we be mad at them. But it's like Jordan. If you watch the Jordan documentary, this nigga Jordan was like, well, Republicans buy shoes too. And yeah, that was a shiesty comment. But at the end of the day, if you look at his parents and the infrastructure of how his parents raised him, they wasn't teaching him to be no fucking black activist. They was teaching him to go work a job and go the fuck home. Nick took that chance, Shawnee, and it's a lesson for all of us on every level in this system. That's a fact. That's why I break it down in layman's terms. Just think of a nigga on your dominant society, corporate plantation, regular job. Just matter of fact, let's just look at LeBron. LeBron recited a lyric talking about Jewish people and they made him apologize. So if he recited a lyric about Jewish people, what do y'all think that they gonna make anybody else do? They gonna make you apologize. And that's all they gonna do. And they gonna keep making you apologize. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can find the honor. Let me see. I'm trying to find honorable. I'm just looking this up real quick. Going on. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. I just want to play y'all a little bit.
To be Jewish. Not the nationality of a Jew, but Jew in terms of belief in God and a follower of divine revelation. But was Mr. Rothschild a moral man?
Now he's breaking down the Rothschilds and he's breaking down the Federal Reserve. So I'm going to play that. I want y'all to really listen to this shit.
Here's a man that had 5 sons. And he sent his 5 sons into 5 countries. One son went to England. One son to France.
You see, he's breaking it down. Rothschild, he's talking about Mayor M. Shell Rothschild. Just break it down. He's not talking about no hate. He's not saying that they bad. He's just questioning the lack of moralism. If they moral hazard, what is their morals? You know, are they immoral people or are they moral? And he's basing it on that, and he's breaking it down how much of a tactician Mayor M. Shell Rothschild was, how he said, dope, smart dude. The Rothschilds are very intelligent, how he sent all his sons into different countries to learn the banking system.
One to Austria, one to Italy, and another remained in Germany with the father. And from these sons, and the money that these sons had, they worked and maneuvered and manipulated until they gained control of the central banks of England, France, Austria, Italy, and Germany.
This is documented history from a book, Dare Not Call It a Conspiracy. I should have got that book a long time ago because I think it's in the back of The Secret Relationship Between Jews and Blacks or The Fall of America by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I think it's in the back, if I'm not mistaken, because they got books like How White Folks Got So Rich, Defending Farrakhan, book 1 and 2. I'm going to get those. The Secret Relationship Between Jews and Blacks. They got those books at the end. But I got to check The Fall of America because it's in one of the back of those books. But this is documented history.
The control of these central banks went into the hands of individuals whose interests were not necessarily in harmony with the best interests of that nation. These privately owned central banks became the printer of the money and the extenders of credit of that particular nation.
So basically, he's just breaking it down. That's why you got to give him props. It's true. He's going to break it down how they did it. The Jekyll Island meeting, Senator Aldrich, how it was all connected, how they kept pushing and pushing before Christmas break so they can push into law the Federal Reserve. Because Thomas Jefferson, the slave owners, the one thing that they did say was they want Congress to print the money. They didn't want it to be printed by a private bank. And this is how it all ties into black labor equaling white wealth. That's how it ties it, because the Rothschilds, they're not black folk. These are white people. So that's how that's why when you listen to people, you know, destroy the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, why don't they sit down and debate with him? So when he brings these things up, then why don't you combat it? If it's not true, then why don't you sit down and debate him like they did Malcolm X, like they did the Honorable Dr. Francis Cress Welsing? Why don't people sit? Because what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is saying is documented history. So, and I'm playing this for a reason to tie it all into one, because if they control the banks, they control the media. If they can control the media, they can control what we see and what we don't see. That's why we're seeing a whole bunch of John Lewis and less Alonzo Brooks.
And politics in Europe was always controlled by the money interests. Wars were fought, and in order to fight a war, governments had to borrow money. They borrowed money from these central banks. The central banks waxed rich because they loaned money and charged interest, then took over when one side prevails against the other. And when governments could not satisfy the indebtedness, then some of the natural wealth of that country flowed to the bankers.
So basically they funded both sides of the war. And it's documented history. First of all, J.P. Morgan, he created what was called the Panic of 1907. And he created that panic because they wanted to do the Federal Reserve then. So if he can create a panic, they could run to the centralized bank or the private bankers and be like, well, we want you guys to control it. Then after they created the Panic of 1907, it was said that the Titanic, that J.P. Morgan sank it. It was sank on purpose because there were people on that ship that opposed the Federal Reserve. That's what has been said about our lovely Mr. Pennybags from the Monopoly game, J.P. Morgan. That's documented history as well. And long after the Federal Reserve was instituted, boom, we were into the war immediately. Like the FBI was created, the Federal Reserve was created, the Internal Revenue Services were created, which was the IRS. All that was created like back to back, like right after each other. So it all ties into one. And these people at the helm that's in control, these people are the dominant society. They're white people. They're not black people. You know? And let's see.
International bankers. They hated Taft for his derailing of the Aldrich Federal Reserve Act. So they wanted to get at Taft.
Yep.
But they felt that a Republican shouldn't bring this act before Congress. It would be better if it came through a Democrat. So they same bankers put money behind Woodrow Wilson.
Wined and dined him.
And Woodrow Wilson sold the American presidency to the international bankers. He was elected in 1912, and in 1913, the Federal Reserve Act became law, and the Central Bank of the United States was taken over by a group of private banking institutions. Then somebody else began printing the money. Like Rothschild said, he don't care who rules,
as long as I control the money.
As long as he controls the purse strings.
And that's exactly what he said. I care not who makes its laws. I just want to control the money. And that's why when you look up the Rothschild banking industry and look up them, like Jay Electronica, he was dating a Rothschild. She was a descendant of Mayor M. Shaw Rothschild. She's worth millions of dollars. You look up Mary M. Shaw Rothschild, it's some fictitious number, 400 trillion. You look up anybody that's related to the Rothschilds, they have billions of dollars. Now, how is that? Off the backs of black labor.
In 1913, America was not yet at war. In the last winter solstice of the 6,000-year rule of the enemy, America was betrayed by one of her presidents and one of her senators.
Fact, Shawnee. He did fund the railroads and all that. That's why I remember, like, what people don't understand is that Monopoly game, that's based on the Federal Reserve. Mr. Pennybags, the character on Monopoly, that's J.P. Morgan. That's him. That character is J.P. Morgan. He had the fucking top hat with the little J.P. Morgan. That was him, and people didn't understand that. That's what J.P. Morgan and Chase. That's why they took the J.P. Morgan off and just put Chase Bank. That's his shit. If you notice, Chase Bank ain't never went nowhere. Period. At all.
And one of her members of the United States Treasury.
Now listen to this.
Do you know why I'm teaching this subject on Jesus Saves? Because after I say what I'm saying today, if I ain't got a Savior, I'm sure gonna need one after I say what I say today.
Now listen, because now he about to get deep.
Let me just finish. Don't be frightened for me. You better be frightened for yourself. Because some stuff is going down in America right now as we speak. That all our lives are in danger right now. And I've got to sound the alarm, brothers and sisters. I don't care nothing about my life. It's your life that I want to save. Listen. Now that the bank that prints money is in the hands of private interests, the idea is to push up and inspire the government to borrow. How do you do it? Get America into war. The war in Europe started in 1914. And by 1917, under a lie about the Lusitania being sunk by German subs, the American people were called into a war to end all wars.
Yep. We were. We were called into a war to enter all wars. And man, they don't have that one on there. I'm trying to find the one where he basically, but they don't have it. I think I have it on one of my phones where he basically just is like, y'all don't understand. They got y'all in this for bullshit, but you can't find that. I'm trying to find that. But yeah, man, Farrakhan is heavy, man, with that. He broke that shit down. He broke it down, for real. I mean, he broke it down. Here, let me see if I... All right, let me see. All right. Khalil Abdul Muhammad. Let's see. I'm going to try to find it. Khalil. Let's see. Khalil Abdul. Hold on. There we go. Let me see. Let's see if I can find it, because he going in. Y'all need to hear this part, because it's at the tail end. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go.
To be Jewish.
There we go. Here we go.
Go ahead. You better worry about yourself. Excuse my language, but they are bastards. They're illegitimate. But bullshit.
Hold on. I'm going to play this part. And y'all need to hear this, because he breaks it down.
Some stuff is going down in
Here we
America
go.
right now as we speak. That all our lives are in danger right now.
That's real.
And I've got to sound the alarm, brothers and sisters. I don't care nothing about my life.
Now listen to this.
It's your life that I want to save. Listen. Now that the bank that prints money is in the hands of private interests, the idea is to push up and inspire the government to borrow. How do you do it? Get America into war.
Yes. Why do you think they was always pushing war? In 2003, that war that pushed us into debt. In the 80s, in the 90s, always pushing us into war. Borrow more and more money from the Federal Reserve, which is owned by private banks. This is all at the helm of racism, white supremacy.
The war in Europe started in 1914.
Yep.
And by 1917, under a lie about the Lusitania being sunk by German subs, the American people were called into a war to end all wars. this is heavy, man. I mean, you can't believe how wicked, how low down and rotten. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You can't believe how wicked these people are. To play games with your lives and the lives of your babies. Create a war just to get more money, to charge more interest, and send your babies to die for bullshit.
That's real. That's real. Look, Shawnee, Wendy, that was the realest shit I ever heard somebody say. It's a show on History Channel called The Man Who Built America. I'm out to watch it. What Farrakhan just said was the realest shit you'll ever hear somebody say. I'm going to play it one more time so everybody can hear.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You can't believe how wicked these people are. To play games with your lives and the lives of your babies. Create a war just to get more money, to charge more interest, and send your babies to die for bullshit.
That's a fact. And I listened to this speech a long time ago, probably about 10 years ago. That's real. You'll never hear nothing like that from nobody else. You're not gonna hear that from no black people.
Excuse me, but bullshit is the dropping of a cow or a bull. It's BS, it's lies, it's deceit. And the American people went to war in 1917, and black people sued to become a part of the war because we didn't want to be left out of America, so America signed us up to fight the war. And black men died, but they don't know what the hell they were dying for, and neither did the white ones know what they were dying for. But the man of sin gotta be revealed. And I thank God that he put it in my heart. I don't have no fear of those bastards. I want to expose them all.
That's real. That is the realest shit ever. That's why, and that's exactly why they made Nick Cannon denounce the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Yep, the realest. It's damn well serious. I'm telling you, I'm going to play one. Look, I'm going to rewind it one more time because he said, I'm going to expose them all.
Left out of America, so America signed us up to fight the war. And black men died, but they don't know what the hell they were dying for, and neither did the white ones know what they were dying for.
Yep.
But the man of sin gotta be revealed. And I thank God that he put it in my heart. I don't have no fear of those bastards. I want to expose them all.
And that's why they don't like Farrakhan. And then call us some bastards. Oh, man.
God is present. God is in the world. And I'm going to prove to you by my life that God has power to save.
And that's it, man. That's it. That's all I wanted to play. And that's exactly why, since you know, when people get to talking that shit about Farrakhan, they fear him though. They tread lightly when they speak his name. Exactly. When people get to talking that shit about Farrakhan, just go look up YouTube's Farrakhan exposes the Rothschild and just tell him, well, listen to this. And then you tell me if what he's saying is wrong. Because the Rothschilds did claim to be Jewish, German Jews, which they funded both sides of the war. They stayed in the finest of hotels. They funded everything. People didn't know that. And when you have our brother Nick Cannon that has that rabbi show, you know what? It doesn't bother me that Nick Cannon does that. You know why? Because he is, I would say, linked. He's linked to the system of the dominant society. So I don't expect him to come out and do that. Now I do agree with Shawnee on. I think you knew what your contract was. I just think he probably thought they wasn't gonna do that. But when people speak ill about the Honorable Minister Farrakhan and what he says, and he speaks hate, now what hate did y'all hear out of that? All you did was expose the truth. You create the Federal Reserve. You put us in a war to charge more interest, to charge more money. That's what you did. And that just happens to be the dominant society, which is the white Jewish community. That's why when you try to hold them accountable, they call you anti-Semitic. And then and if you fast forward it, they shove John Lewis in your face because he wants you to get in some good trouble, and he wants you to get your ass whooped in Selma, and that's what they like. They don't want no nigga that's gonna be like, nah, y'all full of shit too, and y'all need to take accountability. That's exactly why they put those type of safe niggas in front of us. That's why I played that, so y'all can understand what it is. I don't even hear the press talk too much shit about the minister. No, they won't. Like that rabbi, he was saying slick shit about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He was saying slick shit, but my thing is, if you have this issue, then why don't you go sit with him and talk to him? Why don't you debate him? Why don't you have these conversations? But you're not going to do that because they know what he said is correct. That's why. And that's why on Twitter I've been battling with people. Oh my God, just bots and people. But a lot of people have been jumping in the defense of black people because people get tired of it. Like one sister jumped in and was like, no. Y'all made a lot of money off the slave trade. Y'all were trading slaves, owning slaves, raping slaves. They was doing the same shit that everybody else was doing. But the Jewish white community, they try to act like they, like I said, they're somehow absolved. And then they push the John Lewises in your face because you're like, well, it ain't them. Well, who do you think else controls the media? Y'all don't think that it's black folk that control it? No, it's them. They control the media. They're responsible for the ups and the downs of the of the economy. They dictate monetary policy. That's why you notice they don't ever talk about the Federal Reserve. They make it seem like it's government issue, but it's not. It's a privately held bank. That's why when you like, okay, well, where y'all getting all this money for the stimulus? So how you can find money to print for a stimulus, but you can't find money for reparations for black folk, but you can find reparations for the Jewish community? Ask anybody that. Say, well, why do they give reparations to the Jewish community, and that happened in Europe? But black folks in the slave trade and slavery was in the United States of America. That was on U.S. soil. So how is it something that happened to us on U.S. soil, we don't get reparations, but the white Jewish community gets reparations, and that happened in Europe? So I don't get it. And then every time you speak about that, motherfuckers start calling you anti-Semitic. I said, look, I'm not anti-Semitic because first of all, I am not anti myself. Y'all are not the chosen people. Y'all are from Khazaria. Stop. The motherfucker tries to say, oh, that's not true. Man, stop. I know y'all wasn't. Look, I'm just going to go by what I've read in the regular Bible. The children of Israel can't be you because y'all wouldn't have made it in Egypt 5,000 years ago when there was no sunscreen. So stop. Y'all are from the Caucasus Mountains and from Khazaria. You guys are not from Israel. You nowhere near that. Stop. But whoever controls the narrative controls the way history is being taught, and they control the narrative. That's why it's important for you to read and understand what you're reading and know what you're reading about. And stop letting any other race come around you and distract you from sticking up for your people. And when I mean sticking up for your people, I mean for your culture. You know what I mean? And not prostituting your racial integrity. And when I mean prostituting, it just being like, oh, well, just because somebody's showing you attention, you'll let them kind of do your race any kind of way and say any kind of shit to you. You know what I mean? Nah. You got to nip that shit in the bud, because a lot of these people, man, they'll do that. You know? It's about education. It's about understanding what it is. Stop thinking Obama and Joe Biden and all these clown motherfuckers, if you vote, they gonna save you. These niggas is not gonna save you. Period. These niggas at work ain't gonna save you. Nobody's going to save you. What's gonna save you is you. Arming yourself with the necessary books that you need. That's why I say, when I go to a black church, I talk to somebody that's a black church, I don't diss their church. I just be like, well, they just need to teach more about black empowerment. And not just giving offerings and tithes, all this other shit, just to keep the building going, but then ain't nobody educating themselves on what's going on in the world. Because the system of racism and white supremacy is a team sport. So no matter how good one person does, as a team, we're losing. That's why on Twitter, motherfuckers try to say, well, you guys have Michael Jordan and all that. Man, I said, Bill Gates has more wealth than Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, Floyd Mayweather, and every other black celebrity that you named. Stop it. If you just tally up Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and fucking Warren Buffett, that's 90% of the wealth. What are you talking about? But they'll perpetuate the situation like we don't own nothing. Stop it. Stop. And to be racist, you have to own resources. That's why the dominant society dominates 9 areas of activity. Now, I can't remember all 9 of them, but I can remember some of them. Labor, law, politics, economics, religion, sex, entertainment, war, and education. 9 areas. I guess I got them right. They dominate all 9. I've already went through this a million times. Y'all know what the 9 that they dominate. Go get Dr. Francis Welsing's ISIS Papers, Keys to Color, or go get Neely Fuller Jr.'s book, The Compensatory Counter-Racist Code. Go get these books and read them. I feel like every kid should be reading Black Labor, White Wealth around 14, 15. They should be reading Think Like a Millionaire. They should be, if you want to know about wealth, you should read it from a black person's perspective, not from a white person. I was talking the other day about Gary Vee, the dude that was with Nipsey, and, oh, you're going to make it. You know, the guy that gives all these pep talks and shit, but you're white. So your struggle is different from ours. As a matter of fact, you don't even really have a struggle, not compared to black folk in this country. See, I think a lot of times when black folks get status and get celebrityism, white people come around and make it seem like, but really they not. Because these same people, when it's time to speak on racial inequality, economic equality for black folk, these white people are gone. Just like I'm going to address Jane Elliott. I think some of the shit that Jane Elliott says is factual, but a lot of shit she say is for the courts, for the dominant society. Black people shouldn't get reparations. It should go to the Native Americans. They already got reparations. They already got reservations and get a check. But we do. But we haven't. But you notice she's from the dominant society, and I think people place too much emphasis and faith and hope on celebrities or people that kind of speak that talk. Now, Jay Elliott says a lot of shit that's true. But you got to remember, she's a part of the dominant society, so she's not going to go all out to be like, yeah, black people deserve reparations. No, she's not. She's going to talk about everything else but black folks. But since she's so authoritative, you're like, oh, man, she cold. But just like Tim Wise, same shit. She started caping for the white society, the dominant society. I'm telling you, that's what you're supposed to understand. Stop waiting for these people to speak up for you. They're not going to speak up for you. They're not going to come and help you. They're not going to do none of those stuff. Like Dr. Claude Anderson says on every podcast he does with Dr. Boyce Watkins, and in his book, we have no friends, we have no allies. We've been locked and boxed out of the wealth. So stop thinking that these people going to help you. No, they're going to keep you behind the line. That's why when you go to these court plantations, stop going there thinking, I was seeing this sister. She didn't work. She was at her court plantation, and she was like, yeah, this job don't pay enough because I didn't go to school to get my degree. And I'm just thinking like, oh, well, you might as well get out of America, because it's going to be really hard for you to move up this little fictitious hierarchy of needs with your degree because of the color of your skin. I didn't say that, but I'm just thinking like, we got to start educating black folk too. Just because you get a degree don't mean you're finna make a whole bunch of money either. And just because now you're a threat to the dominant society because you have the same passport and education that they had. So now you are really more of a liability to them because they don't want no educated black person at the same level as them. That's why they'll hire somebody that doesn't have education. They can pay them less to satisfy their need because you don't have education. That's how it works. See, there needs to be a middle person, whether it's a church or the Hebrew Israelites, the Nation of Islam, some black group got to be like, okay, we got to start teaching our young black kids when they get out of college to stop thinking that they finna go into white America and make all this money. We got to teach them the reality that you're probably going to be even more behind the line because you're a threat because you have the college education. And if you don't have that look that they want, or they don't have an affirmative action program, or they're not getting some type of an incentive to hire black folk, you're probably most likely going to not get that job making that money that you want to make. That's how it works. I just think we don't think it works that way because we think somehow we're different. And I think, just my personal opinion, I think that's where Nick Cannon went wrong. I think he thought he was different. And you're not. You're just like everybody else. So instead of people getting mad, they should get glad and be like Wendy said, I'm glad that happened to him. So now we can see exactly how they feel about us for real. And it's not fool's gold. Because fool's gold, they would have still kept paying them everything. And nah, they let it be known. No, you're not going to say shit about us. And I'm going to slap you down. So now you know. The system has spoken. And these celebrities work 9 to 5 jobs just like us. It's just they're 9 to 5, they get paid more. But it's the same thing. They have a boss. And they have to work just as hard as you. So don't ever get around a celebrity and let a celebrity front on you. I met a lot of celebrities and they ain't ever fronted on me because I won't allow them to. Because I'm like, well, nigga, you got a boss just like me. You can't say what you want to the people that's paying you just like I can't say what I want. So it never really bothered me. The only people that I really did admire and respect and look at was like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Malcolm X, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Nations of God and Earth. Those, you know, you look at those people. You're like, damn, man, them dudes is dope. Then you start looking at some of the newer people. You know what I mean? The Tariq Nasheeds and all them. You got to see, that should make people have a better understanding of the people, the Boyce Watkins, the Tariq Nasheeds. We should have a better understanding and give them more props because literally they're not beholden to the dominant society and they still out here doing it. So you got to give them props and support them and stop pocket watching and trying to see how much money they making. See, I don't do that. I'm not on Dr. Boyce Watkins' bumper like, well, how much money you making off your business? You charging all these people? I'm not into all that. That's divisive, and that's what females do. I'm not finna do that. I'm not watching nobody's pockets and doing all that. The motherfucker was on Twitter talking about that shit too. And I'm like, man, I don't have time for that. I'm not the SEC. What is that, Warren? The Security and Exchange Commission. I don't got time to be watching people's pockets and see what they doing. If they got a good message and they put it out there and let it be known, that's all I can fuck with. And that's all you need to be. Stop worrying about what the fuck people doing and what they... Hey, you got the same 24 hours in the day that they got. Stop worrying about what they doing. If you own a hamster wheel and you're not trying to get off, don't be mad at the next motherfucker because he got off the hamster wheel and he moved on. Get off the hamster wheel and handle your business. But hey, man, these are things... Hey, y'all remember what I said? Go back, look at the Farrakhan speech that he talked about the Federal Reserve. Look at how it all ties into racism. Think about what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, what versus Nick Cannon said, tie it all together. You're going to be like, oh, well, no wonder they shut him down and did all that. And that's fine. You know what I mean? But now we know. And you can't be upset and be like, well, Nick, nah. And see, I wasn't upset at Nick. And the reason why I wasn't upset because, as Master P said, him being anti-Semitic and all that I'm not worried about. You're not a boss. You're a worker. So now you got to get your boss status up. And you can't go work for those people. Go sit down and talk to Dane. Go talk to Diddy. Go talk to those people. Because they're going to tell you this is what they do. So you got to get away from them. And that's it. This should all be a lesson well learned for everybody in the United States of America that's black. That's like, okay, now we know what we're talking about is getting some traction. We got to get away from people. So now we got to get our own streaming platforms, get our own apps. Stop glorifying Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and wait for somebody. And if Go get blackenough.com with Boyce Watkins. Go get Billy Carson's app. Go get these young black entrepreneurs apps. Go get these brothers, the people that's out there doing it. Go support Dr. Phil Valentine. Go support these people. Go support Professor Griff. I just got his book. I got to get his other book too. I'm trying to get all his books. These are our poor righteous teachers right here. We just expect them to have a whole bunch of money. But the shit that Nick Cannon said, this was shit that Professor Griff said 20, 30 years ago. And then it stopped them from getting money and stopped them. This is what they do because it's their system. And they don't want the Moors to be in power again because they know we do. That's why it's time to educate yourself and know what's going on. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody listening. Man, I didn't even realize I've been on this long. Hey, man, I'll meet y'all probably on Tuesday and some shit. I appreciate everybody handling business and doing what they do. Hey, man, I appreciate the sharing and the subscribing. Like I said, look, I'm very apprehensive. That's why I be trying to get on live early, man. Because, we got to watch. The channel is growing. I'm just watching the age of provocateurs. Because eventually this channel, I already know what's going to happen. It's going to get big. And when it gets big to that point, we're going to start kicking motherfuckers out the chat. Right now, it's Gucci. But, once we dealing with people that's on some age of provocateur shit, because I see it on other channels a lot. But, hey, man, you know me. I'm not going to be on here simping and cooning and samboing and buck dancing just to get followers. It ain't that deep to me. But, hey, man, I appreciate everybody out here handling business. It's a different land. They have handlers, black celebs included. Yes, they do have handlers. That's true. Yes, they do. Hollywood does have handlers. That's why I don't want to do that at all. Nope. That's what I don't want to do. I don't want to work in Hollywood. I don't want to deal with nobody. I don't want nobody. Nah, I'm good. Nope. When I've been trying to do my thing, I just want my bookstore so I can have my bookstore, have my shit, my incense going. Niggas want to come in and sit down and read a book. Cool. Oh, you want to know what this book is? That's my goal. That's why I'm just kind of trying to read a little bit of everything. But I definitely want to have black knowledge in my bookstore. And I'm going to have a whole bunch of dominant society books too. But it's going to be the real knowledge of the dominant societies, not just some shit that they taught you in high school. Like the book I'm reading right now, The Dark Prince. You know what I mean? Very, very good book. It's about Alessandro de Medici. I'm going to keep talking about it. And it's so funny how the so-called Italians, they don't ever want to talk about that shit, but they talk about how smart they were and all this other shit. But they want to talk about the black mulatto Italian, basically the nigga that was running shit. But hey, man, we'll get into that another day. I'm still reading. It's a great book. Like I said, y'all know my email, nowayoutlv@gmail.com. If you got any new books y'all want me to read, or let me add it to my cart on Amazon, hit me up. I appreciate y'all listening. Hey, if niggas is out there cooning and samboing and making excuses for racism and white supremacy, you already know what I'm going to hit them with. Guilty, nigga. Hey, man, I'm out. Peace.